Okay, hello, Adnan Daftar here. Basically talking about my top 8 finish London ELM qualifier last weekend. Finished 5th to 8th in the tournament. Um, this will kind of be talking about deck building choices in current Legacy. I think this is actually quite a good choice now, and yeah, just kind of talking about the experience of the event. Firstly, this was an amazing event. So shout out to Sahar Mirhadi. Um, yeah, she put it together for us basically. Amazing person in our community. So shout out to her for putting this thing together in the first place. And also Luke K, I believe is his last name. I know Luke was also helping out um, with Sahar. So thank you to both of them for helping out this event. Now, right, let's talk about the deck first. So 5 color Zenith is usually, firstly, a Yorion strategy. That is because actually this deck is worse with only 60 cards. Reason being, you basically can't fit everything you want to in only 60 cards. Now, okay, titular card of the deck, Green Sun Zenith. For those who don't know, X and green. Search for green creature with CMC X or less, play onto the battlefield, shuffle green suns into your library. So basically, this reads find any creature you want for attacks of 1 green mana, as long as the creature is green, which you will notice every creature except for one is green in this deck. So it can find everything except for Tamio. This is a very powerful engine. Usually you see this in non-blue decks. So think kind of Maverick, which is like fair green white X stuff, just creatures, or Slow Depths, which kind of is a fair green white with Maker 2020 as I win button. This takes Powerful Green Sun's engine and plays blue cards because it turns out blue's pretty good in Legacy. So okay, Green Sun's the engine of the deck. Let's kind of go over targets for Green Suns. So okay, let's go over the normal stuff first. You have Grist. This is basically treatable slow value, and more importantly, the -2, which is treatable removal. Okay, other normal stuff. 5 Mad Dogs, so clean 1 birds and 4 halflings. In the past, I've played Noble Hyrox or more birds, but basically, not Dying to Orchestra Masters is pretty good. And actually, over time, we are playing more and more legends in this deck, and the uncounterability is actually disgusting and wins so many games with this card. So yeah, I like this split. I like 1 birds as well as kind of 6th dork and further additional mana fixing. And I mean, okay, so you have Dryad Arbor as well. It's kind of like dork. It's turn 1 ramp, right, with Green Suns. Okay, other normal stuff. Collect Roof in the main deck because you are playing Green Suns in your 80 card deck. You're allowed to play powerful hate bears in your deck, in your main deck, which will scam you games that you don't deserve to win. Okay, I like Twin Joneses as well. It's both main deck or graveyard hate, flash 3/4 reach is respectable as well. Also, importantly, in grindy mirrors, this lets you win the decking war, which you already have an advantage in because you're your own deck. But this deck basically has an infinite endgame, and Endurance is part of that. Okay, I still. It's Exploration and Crucible on a creature. This used to be Raven Up, but this is just better. You pay 1 more mana for a better creature. Okay, Keen Eye Curator. This is more graveyard hate, and also if you just want a cheap and very big creature, this is very, very good. Okay, next card, Leovold. Leovold is our draw hate, treatable draw hate. It's also just really good as a value object. Like, if a opponent has like Caracas, it's like they take 3 every turn, or they let you draw 2 cards every turn. It is more expensive, tell me, but yeah, Leovold's good. He can be cut depending on the meta, but overall, it's pretty good. Okay, 4 year is talk of the season. This is like the hotness in Legacy. We all know why you're playing Tamio. It turns out she's a pretty free interlude when you're playing Brainstorm. I don't think this card needs much explaining, but yeah. Okay, I'm playing 3 Uro. Uro used to be just like the best win con if you're playing blue and green. These days, I play him more as a blue and green card that I'm happy to pitch, and sometimes I'm happy to play him and make the game about him, which is a hilarious thing to say about Uro. Okay, we Okay, then Alistair Shepherd is an oddball. I'm playing. Okay, this one I'm not sure about. I'm playing one currently because I have gone up to 4 natural orders, which we will get to later. But the theory is I Zenith with Shepherd and I've predicted natural order. I will get onto my thoughts on how this card's played out in practice later. Okay, as for natural order, we have 2 types main deck. We have Atraxa. This is just the best creature generically to cheat out. And then we have Primeval Titan. This card looks funny, it looks cute, it looks not that good until you play games with it, and that's disgusting. Okay, so in terms of what this gets, other than normal lands, 1 Field of the Dead, 1 Guy's Cradle. This is also just like a normal land that you're happy to play in the stack. Because if you have like 2 or 3 dorks out, this is just a disgusting land. You have a Krakus and 2 Wastelands. So it's a responsible land package because these are all, for the most part, except for the field, lands that like just make mana and do stuff. So yeah, this is kind of the creature package. Then kind of more generic cards. Brainstorm, 4 Force of Wills, also 4 Force of Negation. Basically, if you are allowed to survive, you will win basically any matchup because you just outgrind everything. So I mean, 8 Forces is good. Also, you just need more blue cards to support the forces we do play. 4 Swords, best removal. I don't think this needs much explanation. 2 Prismatic Ending. This is kind of flex slot removal. I play it mostly because it's a catch-all for other non-creature permanents, namely Grafdigger's Cage, but everything else as well. This could be a road if you really want it to be or whatever, but I like Ending still personally. I'm not happy to play it, but whatever. It's we need to play more than 4 removal spells. Okay, Tooth Fairy, just a generic object. It's a blue card. That's the most important part. Again, the blue card in this deck is actually pretty bad. I think it's around 25. So if we I think if you do the math, it comes out to like around 18 out of 60 for a 60 card deck. So it's like kind of the bare minimum you're allowed to play. But also it's very disgusting when he's uncounterable with Halfling. One of them, this is just a flex slot. It's a good card. It's probably the first card you might notice playing 81. You can cut if you want to, but I like it. Hey, mana base. We're playing 11 fetches. We have 3 Flooded Strand, 4 Misty, 4 Windswept. Windswept and Misty get every single jewel land in the deck. Flooded Strand doesn't. Flooded Strand can't get Bayou or Tiger. So keep that in mind. It is the worst fetch land in the deck, so also we're only playing 3 of it instead of 4. We have 1 Boseiju as just a non-basic forest with upside. We are playing 5 basic lands. We have forest, island, and then snow, forest, island, and plains. The reason for this split is Field of the Dead, so sorry to trigger OCD, but it is correct to do it in this deck. Other than that, we have Tradebinder mana base. So 1 Bayou, then the Cradle we've talked about, 1 Hedge Maze, 1 Savannah, 1 Tiger, 2 Chops. This is the only duel we play 2 of, 1 Tundra. I missed the Savannah here. Okay, sideboard construction, 3 Carpet. This is like the best green card, generically speaking, in Legacy, and namely, especially in the blue-red cutter matchup. If you are allowed to deploy your cards, you will win. The issue is that matchup can be hard if you get completely run over, and Carpet helps to mitigate that. Consign, this is just like a random flex slot. This can be Flusterstorm, this can be Surgical, it can be whatever you want. I think Consign's okay in this deck, but I prefer playing permanent hate pieces in this deck, especially when you're playing 8 Forces main, to support them. So you'll necessarily play, very few stack interaction here. 2 Deafening Silence, Storm Hate. Storm looks like a bad matchup on paper for this deck. It's actually pretty good. You have so many hate permanents and 8 Forces that it's uphill for them. Gadok Teague, and shootable combo hate, Green Sun, Zenith Thibor. Hydro Blast, 2 Hydro Blast. Self-explanatory. I mean, cards are good against red decks. And typically speaking, the London meta has had a lot of red cards. Actually, this event, though, there wasn't. I only played against 1 deck that properly had red in it. Or 2, actually. I lied. But yeah, I mean, Hydro Blast is good. You could trim it if your meta's low on red. Rampaging Yaguai, this one's a reader, for those of you who don't know what it does. X green, 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 Vig Trample, ETB with X1 counters. When it enters, destroy any number of artifacts and enchantments with mana value X plus. Basically, this is a green sun's target to deal with Saga and Constructs. Rothar, this one's a spicy one. Okay, so the theory is it's a green sun target for the combo matchups. Sorry, not green sun, natural order. In practice, this card's okay. I don't hate it, but it's probably just more responsible to play like another Deafening Silence or whatever. Silent Gravestone. Actually, sorry, more thoughts on Rogue Thought. Kind of how it played out was either it got grown and then he just died, or he completely won me the game. The thing is, he is also really, really good against the control decks. So, and right now, I expect a lot of control in my low combat, so I won't count for now. But this can be like whatever card suits your meta better. Silent Gravestone. It's permanent graveyard hate that doesn't stop our own deck, because Grafdigger's Cage kind of stops our two engine cards. So we can't play Grafdigger's Cage, and as I said, I prefer permanent hate, so I am playing Silent Gravestone. And then we have Toxic Screen. 3 in a green, reach Death Touch, and all lands have tap, add rainbow mana, like add one of any color, and lose all other abilities. This is basically for like lands and Clapperst and those matchups. Then we have Yorion. This is part of the so I've alluded to this infinite end game of the deck. Basically, if you're some board state of Atraxa and or Primetime, and you pair it with Yorion, you can bounce Yorion every turn with Caracas and get Atraxa or Primetime triggers every single turn, and like just draw your entire deck or make a million zombies, and then you'll never deck out because both endurance and green suns. In terms of like kind of flex slots in this deck, the Shepherd, again, I'm probably calling this. I like it on paper, but in practice, so the theory is if you have 6 mana, green suns, and natural order, you can uncounterable natural order. Oh, you also need spare material on board. The issue is this has played out for me once so far in games I have played with this deck, and this wasn't even tournament, it was in testing. So yeah, Rothar, I've already mentioned, he's a bit suspect. Could be more permanent hay or whatever you want, really. Anything else interesting? Yeah, Primetime, don't cut Primetime. Again, I know it looks silly, but like then you play with it, and because sometimes the thing is going tall just doesn't matter, like with the Traxxar. So Primetime fixes that issue, basically. No any other notes I can think. Oh, actually, there's one note. You might be thinking, why 5 color? Where's Pyroblast? So I used to play Pyroblast in this deck. Thing is, you're straight. And yeah, so the second trop actually came from a Volk that I used to play in F-Cut. And I used to play 2 Pyroblasts. Thing is, card's okay, but you're making your mana base so much worse for, an okay card. I think I would play Flusterstorm now with Flow State, but I would not blame you if you wanted to play Pyroblast. Again, change I would do there is cut a trop for Volk. Okay, let's get onto the games. So, first match was Oslo Pride mid-range, specifically this build that's red-white splashing green. It's not exactly this build because I remember my opponent saying what the green splash was for. It's not this. He was on the green splash for Galactic and also Once Upon a Time. No, pardon me. Basically, in game 1, my 7 would have actually won me the game if had I known the matchup. But in the blind, the hand did one thing: send a turn 3 natural order with no protection of any kind whatsoever and no other plans to fall back on. I'm like, okay, I lose if there's a force of will, so I'm not keeping this. Send it 6, keep it like a really slow, grindy, fair hand. Completely run over. Game 2 was just unfortunate. I think I mulliganed to 5. 5, I want to say, and by the time I natural ordered for a Traxxar, I had been man screwed for 3 turns, 2 or 3 turns, and I natural ordered for a Traxxar too late. They had Static Prison with like Voice of Victory or Gadok Teague to kind of stop me forcing it. Just got completely run over. I lost 0-2 against this deck. So round 1, we're 0-1. In terms of like this matchup, if I really, what's funny? I was playing Wrath of the Skies as a sideboard, and then someone's like, And I was thinking, you know what? No one locally really plays cats. I can skimp on Wrath. I cut Wraths, which would have been cards I would have bought in and maybe helped here. Immediately punished for my hubris, but what are you gonna do? So round one we're 0-1. Okay, round two we are against Painter Cam. This matchup I feel is actually really good because basically they are forced to play for the combo against us. It wasn't this build. It was like a proper. They had Emery as well. I can't find the exact version, but it was Jasper from the Painter Discords. Some of you might know him. He's one of the more prominent Painter players. But yeah, I was against Jasper in round two. He was playing like the Emery proper like cam combo build. Um, it was a bit unfortunate. He had like actual like real life situation happening in the middle of the game, so he wasn't properly, in the game. Um, yeah, Jasper, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I hope that your situation was resolved. But I mean that kind of regarding the matchup as well, it's actually a really good matchup because basically they have only one way to win, which is combo very quickly. The issue is why would they shove against a deck with 8 forces, 4 plows, right? Like it's not a good idea to shove against this deck. And there's like if they don't shove, then your permanent hate nonsense like Oof, Silent Gravestone, Keen Curator all come online. And then the fair plan just does not matter against you, especially post boards because you just have Rampaging Uruguay. So it's like then the only way you lose is getting cheesed up by Blood Moon if they're even playing it, right? So it's like I feel like I've had a lot of people say like, oh, you don't just die to combo, but it's like you have both the mix of stack interaction and permanent hate that actually makes combo decks quite favorable for you. But yeah, I won 2-0 against Paintercam. So we are 1-1 at round two. Okay, round three. I am against the Epic Storm. Um, so I keep a hand, and by this point, I knew what like most of the people in the room want because I got completely crushed in round one. I died in like 15 minutes both games, so I had like the opportunity to see what people were playing around the room. So I get this hand, knowing what my opponent was on. I go Dryad Arbor go. Game, sorry, turn to Collector Roof. So remember how I said this one of sorry for that like language. There's like one of little thing scams you games you do not deserve to win. This is what I mean because by all means I should not have won game one against Epic Storm, but I had Collector Roof, which bought me the time to win. He did eventually, manage to bounce it, but Collector Roof bought me time. Specifically, also in game one, he surveilled an echo to the graveyard. I had endurance, and I think Uro I pitched in my hand. And it actually mattered because he surveilled it. He didn't, put it there with LED. So I both had Collector Oof, and I stopped him from echoing the only way he could without LED. And like that bought me the time to just kill him pretty much. So yeah. Game two, it was the exact same sequence. I went Dryad Arbor go, land, oof, on turn two. Then turn three, I had Leovold. Turn four or five or something, I had Deafening Silence. I had like the Tron of Hate for Storm, like basically nothing he could do against it. He even was like, oh, anything else, like, yeah. I was also very fortunate game two. He gambled. I don't know what card he gambled for, but this was on his turn two. He was on the play, obviously. He gambled. He discarded silence, so he didn't send the echo. He was right not to because I had force in my hand, right? But because of his like hesitancy to send it because he didn't have protection, it let me play the turn two Collect Truth and win the game off of that. So yeah, 2-0 against Storm. We are 2-1 after round three. Round four. So speaking of Luke K, one of the people who organized this tournament, he bought this deck. This deck's actually really cool. I have been playing it, and it genuinely feels really good. But it's kind of just like, yeah, it's blue white, proper blue white control with flow state. and rally the monastery as the wing card. Now this one's a reader. It's basically a modal card that does a bunch of stuff. But I mean, even Luke said that like it kind of feels like 5 color Zenith is tailor made to beat this deck. Game one, I like play a bunch of silly nonsense, and then I think I vomit out a prime time on turn 3 or 4 off of Guy's Cradle and Green Suns, and he's just like, okay, guess I'll concede. Game 2, I had like a really wide board, and Iratha Skies, and I forced, and he couldn't protect it, and then the game snowballed out of control from that. This like flow state being printed is kind of part of the reason I picked this deck. I'll get onto that later, but this deck just kind of chews up fair control decks in such an unfair way. But yeah, beat Luke 2-0. Sorry, Luke, but your deck is cool. So, anyway, so we are 3-1 after round 4. Round 5. Okay, we are not against Grixis Reanimator. I'm sorry for the. Yeah, we are not against Grixis Reanimator. We're against Blue Black, but I could not find a Blue Black list online. But basically, yeah, Blue Black Reanimator, because I did not see any red cards, I did not see any red lands, so I'm going to assume it was proper Demir. Game 1, we just get smushed because Collective Brutality is a card, so my opponent uncountably discarded a bunch of like nonsense, reanimated it. Yeah, E1, you know what Reanimator does. Game 2, Keen-Eyed Curator is my best friend in the whole wide world, and he saved me. Heart. In game 2, also, my opponent told me the Caracas I played as land for turn had saved me from the Raph and Mikey that he would have sneak and showed in. Sorry, not sneak and show and told in. So yeah, shout out Caracas on a random one of land saving me. Game 3, I had Silent Greystone in play, and I had like a million count spells for show and tell, and also like when he was trying to discard himself. I also had a Keen-Eyed Curator in case he like removed Silent Greystone. I had like Leovold in play as well or something. I can't remember if I had Leovold, but like again, just a bunch of hate stuff. And it's that combination of hate and stack interaction. I'm telling you, like it's actually so powerful. This deck's combo matchup is not as bad as you think, despite being a Yorion deck. Because again, look, 8 forces, and then in the main deck we have 3 potent hate pests, so Collect Roof, Leovold, and Keen-Eyed, and then we also kind of have the Endurances, right? And then Wasteland might mess with some decks as well, Caracas might mess with decks too. Post board, basically on twice over was combo hate. So combo really is not as bad of a matchup as you'd think. Round 6, my opponent is on basically, as far as I know, Morsa's list, this Jessica control list, but we ID. We are both guaranteed to be in the top 8 if we ID, so we ID. And then the quarterfinals, I pair against my round 6 opponent who I ID'd against. And game 1, it was pretty quick. Basically, it was turn 4, turn 5, somewhere around that. 2 of my lands were basic, 2 were non-basic. I had literally, I think, no material on board. He goes back to basics. I'm like, I know better than to waste my time. I need all the clock I can in this matchup because it will go on forever. Game 2, it was incredibly grindy. It was actually a genuinely really cool game. Spoiler alert, I lost. I lost 0-2 in the quarterfinals. But Game 2 is really cool. It was incredibly grindy, but at basically every point in the game, the threat I had was perfectly answered by the answers that my opponent had. And then the worst part is, my opponent was almost decking out, but then they cast like a Snapcaster Mage or something stupid, or Tamio Downtick for like a spell that I just like couldn't beat. So I had to endurance them when their graveyard was, I think, 2 times bigger than their deck. So it's like I wasn't even playing to the out of decking him anymore, which is really unfortunate. That was basically my only out in game 2 at the point of the game. By the way, in game 2, my shit got rocked. I got ruined. I had 8 or 9 lands in play, including Field of the Dead. I got Ruination. I had not a single basic land in play. I got sent to the fucking Stone Age. I didn't concede. I had stuff on board, but yeah, that was like the beginning of the end in game 2. But yeah, I lost 0-2. You know what? You can't complain too much about losing to Monastery Mentor in the current year of Legacy, right? So, yeah, overall, it was a really fun tournament. This deck feels really, really good. I'm happy with 95% of the card choices. Again, as I said, Alistair Shepherd, Rick Father, the Misas ones. Hydroblast and Consign are like the biggest flag slots in the sideboard, I would say, and Prismatic Ending can be whatever removal spells you'd like. Now, as for why should you play this deck? Basically, okay, so I started playing this deck kind of before Blue Black Grief with Scaminator became like a known meta quantity. The deck felt great. This deck became absolutely garbage when people were like, "Oh, I can play Grief and Entomb combo in one deck." It was just completely unplayable. Um, so I kind of stopped playing this deck. I tried playing it. It was just genuinely miserable. It was not a playable deck. Then they banned Grief. That one I agree with. Then they banned Troll. It was even worse. And then like, oh yeah, I personally disagree with the Entomb ban, but I won't get into that kind of worms. But that's mostly because I liked using it in kind of the fair toolbox capacity. That aside, UB like Rescaminator is not a factor anymore, and people are playing more fair decks because of flow state. So and this kind of preys upon fair decks. So I feel this is kind of like the moment for this deck. I think this deck's amazing. Um, yeah, if you have any questions like kind of about card choices, what you could play, I've tried a lot of stuff in this deck. Some of it was not so good. Some is okay. Some of it I might play again. But yeah, if you like have any questions about this deck whatsoever, just let me know. I would love to talk about this deck. You know, again, like I said, it's my favorite deck. So just let me know if you want to talk about it. If you have any questions, any suggestions, anything, just let me know. All right, I hope this was helpful, informative, enjoyable in some way. And have a good day, good night. Whatever time of day it is for you. Thank you for watching. If you made it all the way through, I really, really do appreciate it. Take care. Bye bye.